Have you ever heard of Moominvalley? Well, if you were on Tumblr in 2019, you sure have. In winter, it snows, which is normal unless you live in one of those backwards-ass places like Florida or something. Everyone in Moominvalley goes to sleep for the winter, not to conserve food or anything, but rather just because they can. The lucky fucks. Look, there's Moomin House, and there's Moomin, our hero. Moomin Papa and Moomin Mama, they sleep in different beds as to not be tempted by the devil. And this must be little Mai, but God knows I wouldn't know. I think before our story starts, we have to wake everyone up. Man, spring is booking it today. Alright, so this past year the internet has been really into Moomins, and I thought it would be fun to watch, but time spent watching a 90s anime is time not spent feeding the YouTube content beast. So why don't I watch it and also create content about it? And if you're here because you like Moomin, allow me to apologize in advance for what I'm about to do to it. So our protagonist, who is a Moomin named Moomin, wakes up from hibernation. At last, it's spring! Well, we're like 75% there, so close enough. But as he is yelling down the stairs, he wakes up the local goblin named Little Mai, whose name I'm going to assume makes more sense in Finnish, but probably not. Moomin! Oh, Little Mai, you're up! Well, it's hard to break my depression nap record with you yelling. You've been asleep since November. Yeah, and my record is 6 months and it's only been 4. But it's beautiful outside. You said you wanted me to wake you up as soon as it was spring here because you said that's the time of year when you could actually feel something besides hazy cold indifference again, and I was just listening to you. But look, you can go back to bed if you want. Nobody's making you get up. Did you ever put it together that maybe your self-destructive tendencies is only hindering your progress rather than helping it? You're full of shit, Moomin. We then meet Moomin's mother, named Moomin Mama. They all only have names that pertain to their role in the series. They're like Smurfs, except, good.
Mama!
Oh, right, I have a kid. Yo, Mrs. Moomin lady, make us some breakfast. Sure, I'll cook for you. It's not like I have anything else to do with my life.
I can hear Snufkin!
Moomin hears the distant harmonica playing of his best friend who he may or may not share gay subtext with, Snufkin, and goes down a flimsy ladder from his room to go see him. Wouldn't it be quicker to use the stairs? Papa banned me from using the front door after what I put in the coffee pot. Are you going home now? Yeah, I forgot to tell my family I was staying with you for the winter. They're probably wondering where I went. Snufkin! Oh, hello, Moomin. You're back early. Weren't you having fun at that place you refused to tell me about? I was, but I didn't want to miss spring in Moominvalley. Let's go with that. I am not running from the police. What did you do? You'll know one day when you're old enough for Lord Groke to accept you. But until then, let's go wake up Sniff so we can make fun of his dumb name and his dumb voice. The two of them head over to Sniff's house, who I guess is another fantasy creature, but really he just looks like a Weasley kangaroo. Sniff wakes up and seems none too happy to see them, but Moominvalley has a population of about 10 people, so he's not exactly spoiled for choice on friends. So little marshmallow hippo and forest hippie it is. So what are we doing? I'm Sniff, this is how I sound. We're pretending that we're the first ever people to climb this mountain. Oh, that's right, there's fuck all to do around here, I forgot. We'll be able to see all of Moominvalley and all of the sea when we get to the top. Cherish it now, my mortal friends, before Lord Groke covers it in her icy embrace. Good morning, Mr. Hemulin. You know, I have a name that isn't just my species with Mr. tacked on. No, you don't. They get to the top of the cliff and look out at the view, and Sniff comments that it looks like Moomin Mama is cooking and that they should have stayed back there because they've all been in hibernation and literally have not eaten in 4 whole months. Then Moomin notices a very out-of-place top hat on the cliff. Oh god, so that's where I left it. The ritual was a failure because of me. I wonder whose hat it is. It's not mine and not a tool for the coming New World Order. Moomin gives the big dumb hat to his dad to replace the smaller dumb hat. He tries it on, but it appears to be too big.
Oh dear, was it? Oh, I can nearly get inside it.
That's right, just keep smiling. It's just a hat and the authorities cannot trace it back to me. No one needs to know about the magician buried in the desert if I don't tell them about it. Then Moomin Papa gets stuck in the hat and trips all over himself, then bans Moomin from using stairs because this is his fault. What are you doing? Is it something else to make my life harder? They decide that there's no use for the big dumb hat and wonder what to do with it. Well, what should we do with it, Papa? Should I throw it in the burning pile with the other objects that have slighted me? Oh no, it's too good for that. Dear, I know your parents are hoarders, but I keep telling you, not everything needs to be saved in a towering stack in the corner. No, look, I'm going to make it into a trash can. I did not inherit my mother's problems. I am not going to break in tonight and steal it. Good to know. Now everyone come eat the food. I spent hours of my finite time on this earth preparing for you all. Then we are introduced to local waifu Snorkmaiden. She's a Snork, I guess, which is different from a Moomin, I guess. They have hair, see? Snorkmaiden goes up to see her brother, who is just named Snork. Shouldn't he be Snork Man? Anyway, you can just tell by looking at him that he's a huge dweeb that will no doubt fuse with his chair soon enough. He's trying to invent the airplane or something.
Snork, I'm gonna go to the house of the only boy in this valley who's my age and try to grow attached to him enough to want to continue on our dying species with him. You wanna come?
It's cute that you still think there's hope. I'm going to stay here and build models to distract myself from the fact that I'm a giant loser. I cannot remember Snork's voice. I listened to it specifically so I could, do it, and then I fucking forgot how he sounds. Snorkmaiden, is this how you thought life would turn out?
Yes, but then again, I was a very depressed child.
Look, just accept that your brother is a giant dork and fills the void in his soul with useless stuff.
He just dreams big, that's all.
Chasing dreams is a useless pursuit when any day can and one day will certainly be your last. Will you live a life of experiences and emotions and die with honor, or will you live a life of uncaught dreams and possessions and perish in your tracks like a dog? Moomin, I accidentally ate the wax fruit on your table. What do I do? Goddamn Sniff, I invite his dumb face into my home and he thinks he can just throw whatever he wants on the floor. Might as well use this if we're going to turn into hoarders.
The offering has been accepted.
So Moomin Papa's offering to the hat god transforms into cotton candy clouds. I wonder if they rain chocolate milk. Being mysterious clouds that came out of nowhere, the children barely questioned it and decided to ride them because entertaining things only happen once every 3 months around here. But enough of that shit. Moomin Papa is in his study, trying to write his memoirs. A lot has happened to him over the years, but doesn't know if the public is ready to read the chapters about him being a filthy hippie draft dodger. Oh god, my wife drugged me again. Moomin, why are you on a flying nimbus? Moomin tells his dad that don't worry, it's totally cool and not at all going to lead to any shattered backbones, and that he should totally get in on this cotton candy cloud action. Honey, have you seen what the children are doing? Yes. And you're just fine with this? Don't worry, sweetie, it's alright. I told them to be careful. Dear, are you high? I'm up there. The kids are now playing a game that seems to just be knock Sniff onto his skull as hard as possible, and little Mai wins. Then Sniff gets his cloud stuck in a tree and...
Come on, little cloud. I'm gonna take
God.
you with me. Yeah, come on, you just keep coming down. Here.
He just keeps going, doesn't he? Then his cloud breaks. Snufkin and Little Mai's clouds dissolve as well, but hey, Moomin and Snorkmaiden still got theirs. Why have they still got clouds, Snufkin? Because your mother was a whore. Moomin and Snorkmaiden's clouds also dissolve, and we're just playing hide and seek now, I guess. Little Mai, whatever you're doing, can you not drag me into it by proximity?
Yes, under the bed. No one has ever thought of this.
Do me a solid and help me find a hiding spot so I don't have to look at Sniff anymore. Oh, stupid dad banning me from stairs. Here, this won't be obvious. For some reason, Sniff is always the one who has to find them. It's almost like he's a pathetic, whiny kangaroo man who people try to stay away from. Your tail made a sound effect. You really need to consider that when we play this. Oh god, please just leave me alone. I am not mentally prepared enough for social interaction with my kids' friends right now. Please, for the love of all that's holy, leave me alone. So, Moomin's mom tried to boil little Mai alive? Yeah, but it was a low heat, so it's okay.
Did you find Moomin yet? Apparently his mother has taken to absent-mindedly killing children.
I'm 35. Moomin starts to giggle from underneath the hat, and Snufkin is afraid that it activated and is going to summon Lord Groke in a most inconvenient place. What was that? Certainly not the Destructor. Why are you people still in my house? Sniff says Moomin just appears to be gone, but Little My points out the hat, and Moomin emerges. Oh god, it's a demon. The apocalypse is finally here. So the demon hat has turned Moomin into some kind of ape creature. Certainly not the second coming of Lord Groke. Snufkin got some bad information. Is just glad he dodged a bullet by losing the hat and not bringing it to the other followers of the Groke. As strange as this whole stream of consciousness-like episode is, I'll give the artist credit that this thing Moomin has transformed into is actually pretty grotesque. Like, God, the teeth. Pray. Snufkin, is this your fault? Because usually when things like this happen, you're somehow involved. No, dude. Look, who are you and where's Moomin? He's the only living proof I have that I've made it with a woman. Moomin finally picks up on the fact that something is wrong and is horrified to find that he looks like a terrible interpretation of Gollum and proceeds to flip the absolute F out. Hello, I hear shouting in here and apparently I'm the only one who can do anything about it because God forbid my husband be useful. This demon came out of a mysterious hat, knows all of us, sounds like Moomin, and says he is Moomin, so we're pretty sure he's not Moomin. Mama, remember when I asked if that power of love crap really works? Well, now's a great time to test it. Why not? Even if you are a demon, I already sold my soul to Snufkin for a single corn chip, so what have I got to lose? So Moomin Mama sees that this purple monkey squirrel is in fact Moomin, and that's enough to instantly transform him back. You guys suck. What do we do with the demon hat? We put it in the river and make it someone else's problem. Well, I committed second-degree murder for nothing. So that was a story about a hat. Hope you liked it. Weird first episode, but it does its job, and if you've never seen Moomin, this was an absolutely terrible place to be introduced to it. Like and subscribe if you're mad at me for ruining your wholesome anime based on a franchise with extensive and complex history that I'm just fucking spitting in the face of, I guess. So, suffer, I guess.